Hello you most beautiful and most amazing top 10ers, how are you doing today? I'm Rebecca Felgate and today we are talking the top 10 most dangerous children's toys part 2. In part 1 we talked about perilous toys such as lawn darts, water yo-yos, trampolines and the winged devils that are sky dancers, so if you want to check that video out then click over here. They aren't the only toys that have been on the market that are a direct danger to kids. Listen on for 10 more in our part 2 video. In at number 10 we have Snap bracelets. Snap bracelets, also known as slap bracelets, have been hit and miss with parents ever since they came on the market in the late 1980s. Frequently banned in schools, improper use of snap bracelets can often result in cuts and marks left on children. As recently as 2014, poorly made snap bracelets were cutting children. It was reported in November of that year that a number of counterfeit snap bracelets with Disney movie Frozen images on them were harming children. One concerned mother even cut open the snap bracelet to see what was inside and was confronted with a piece of an old metal ruler. Not cool. What else isn't cool for kids? Smoking. And at number 9 we have chocolate cigarettes. Okay, so I don't know if these are technically defined as a toy or not, but plenty of kids I know when I was younger, including my sister and myself, used to love playing with chocolate cigarettes. We would basically go out into the garden and pretend to smoke them before eating them. These chocolate cigarettes would look very legitimate, giving kids positive associations with the controversial pastime from an early age. The sale of candy cigarettes is restricted in most countries and is completely banned in Canada, Brazil, Ireland, Norway, Turkey and Saudi Arabia. In at number 8 we have the Kick Flipper. So this is one of the newer toys on this list and it's actually made itself onto a number of warning lists in both 2015 and 2016 despite being on the market for several years. The Kick Flipper is like a skateboard without wheels, encouraging kids to do tricks on a piece of plastic. While kids are presumably meant to wear helmets etc. when playing with the flipper, the packaging shows kids without any protective clothing or helmets. Many insurers will kick up an absolute stink if your child is injured whilst using a kick flipper because they're just so easy to fall off and hurt yourself. That said, they're probably a little bit safer than skateboards, who knows. In at number 7 we have Thomas & Friends Wooden Railway Set. In 2007, RC2 Corps recalled over 1.5 million Thomas & Friend wooden railway sets as it was discovered that their paint was high in lead levels. So lead is really poisonous if consumed, and we all know that kids absolutely love to stick things in their mouths. Don't put it in your mouth. So what effects would lead poisoning have on a child? Well, they can cause serious damage to red blood cells, the kidneys and even the brain. In at number 6 we have clackers. So clackers are also sometimes known as click clacks and knockers and were very popular in the 70s and early 80s. So whatever they're called, these are generally medium sized but very dense plastic balls attached to a weighty string that you're supposed to knock together hard enough to create a clacking sound. Now the problem arose when the balls would be smashed together really hard, which would often result in the plastic shattering and flying everywhere, including kids' faces. After many reported injuries, clackers were widely banned in 1985. From flying bits of plastic shrapnel to highly toxic fumes, up next we have creepy crawlers. There was certainly a golden era of kids' toys that involved really hot ovens, which, as crafty as kids like to be, was always going to be a bit of a red flag. Back in 1964, toy makers Mattel brought out a product called Creepy Crawlers that allowed kids to mold plastic goop and bake them into insect figures using a really hot electric plate that heated up to 199 Celsius, so 390 Fahrenheit. Perfect to burn little fingers. On top of that, the cooking plastic generated pretty toxic fumes. Creepy Crawlers were discontinued, reportedly due to safety concerns. So speaking of toxic, our next toy on this list used the same chemicals as date rape. In at number 4 we have Aquadots. Again, if we know anything, it's that kids love to put things in their mouths. Now if these things are marketed at children but act to poison them, then we absolutely have some issues. Aquadots, also known as Beados, were craft kits that allowed kids to create little 3D designs with multicolored beads. These beads also had a passing resemblance to sweets and candy, so it's not surprising that a lot of kids pop them in their mouth. So what happened to kids that happened to eat these beads? Well, they would be sedated. These beads contained butanediol, aka the chemical used in date rape drugs. Aquadots were finally recalled after many children were hospitalized, 2 of which fell into non-responsive comas. The effects of the chemical are said to be short-term, but that said, an unconscious child is absolutely a child at risk. In at number 3, we have hoverboards. Following the festive frenzy of 2015, I've heard so many dubious stories about hoverboards. It seems to be that generally speaking, premium brand hoverboards are okay, save from the risk of falling off and injuring yourself. But the popularity of the boards has sparked cheaper brands and even some counterfeits, which are absolutely not safe and seem to be prone to bursting into flames. In July 2016, it was reported that 500,000 hoverboards were recalled due to an overwhelming number of safety issue reports. This also includes battery packs that have caught fire. In the UK alone, 18 burn injuries were reported following the holiday season. In at number 2, we have Monster Science Colossal Water Balls. These are toy balls which were aimed at ages 8+ that allowed kids to use growth powder to expand the balls in water. Thousands of the balls were recalled in 2013 following reports of many life-threatening injuries. If ingested, these colourful balls, which can look a lot like pieces of bubblegum or candy, will expand in the body, creating an intestinal obstruction that will need to be surgically removed. One girl had to go under the knife to have a ball removed from her body. Had she not had the ball removed, which did not show up on an X-ray, she would have died. Okay, so we have reached that moment in our top 10 most dangerous children's toys part 2, where we're going to discuss the most dangerous toy on our list this time. At number 1, we have buckyballs. This is actually very sad. So it's easy to see why kids would absolutely love these magnetic balls from which you can create structures and jewelry, but unfortunately they are quite the health hazard. They have been responsible for the death of one child and for the injuries of thousands. Firstly, the balls are easily swallowed. Secondly, they are made of neodymium, which erodes the stomach acid. And thirdly, they will stick together in the body, which can rupture your insides. 19-month-old Annika Chaffin from Ohio died after ingesting 7 buckyballs. She was found unconscious and bleeding from the mouth and nose. It was also discovered that the balls had magnetized in her tummy, rupturing it inside. 7,700 other children have been admitted to hospital after swallowing the balls, which now thankfully have been banned. So that was the top 10 most dangerous children's toys part 2. Some of the stories that we have heard have been really sad indeed, but hopefully this means that people are going to be more careful and cautious when allowing their children to play with various toys. I've been Rebecca Felgate, this has been Most Amazing Top 10. If you like this video, then give it a thumbs up. If you know someone that will find it interesting and useful, then make sure you share it with them, and of course make sure you're subscribed to Most Amazing Top 10. You guys can check me out on social media. I've got Instagram and Twitter, and I also have my own happy YouTube channel, Rebecca Felgate Official. I will see you honeys next time.